And so you say this building was moved here?
Yes, from River, because the bank was getting ever closer to the museum here. So we had to dismantle it board by board, brick by brick, and move it up here to its current location.
Oh.
Where it is now. Yes.
Oh, yeah. And so how long have you been, you're part of the organization,
Yes.
are you, that preserves it?
Yes,
Yeah.
Daughters of the American Revolution. The
Oh,
Oregon
yeah.
State Daughters of the American Revolution do own this museum.
Yeah.
As well as the Robert Newell House, which is next door. Robert Newell was an early pioneer in this area. He came here and settled on the bank and raised a family. He had, I believe, 11 children altogether from 2 wives.
Yeah.
And early pioneer here. He was instrumental at the time when Oregon decided that they wanted to be American rather than British.
Oh,
they
yeah.
held a vote here, and by one vote, they decided they wanted to be American rather than British, because the Hudson's Bay Company was very prominent in this area. Of course, they were British.
Oh, and was that on one side of the river where it was British and the other side was American, was it?
Yeah, the Hudson's Bay Company had been here for quite some time, so there wasn't anyone who actually had settled and owned this area. They had a lot of beaver pelts that they processed in this, captured and processed in this area. So it was pretty much open. But as some settlers came in, more and more settlers came in, they began to try and decide which way they wanted to go, or American or British. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they had a vote, and by one vote, they voted to become American.
Oh, and Robert Newell was in on that then?
He was. He was
Yeah.
right here when it took place.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's very nice. Well, thank you.
Oh, keeps them out. Hold on.
Beaver trappers, and he helped establish a town right down the hill, Champoog village. It was there for many years, but the river kept flooding, and at one point you know who the 49ers are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
A ball team, right?
Oh, yeah.
But for the gold rush in California, he rushed down there, and he became extremely wealthy, but not from gold. He was extremely smart. He sold the shovels, the pans, to the men. Some of the men didn't find any gold at all, but Robert Newell became extremely wealthy from being an entrepreneur, came back, and built this house. This is the house. It is huge for that era, for that time. And with all the flooding happening, at one time, Champoog village completely swept away down the river. His wife said, "Come on up, live with us." The babies and mamas would live in the house, others in tents around, and the Newells fed and clothed them as long as they could, and then he became bankrupt, and he lost all of that wealth from California. Anyway, you will see inside a lot of artifacts that are 150 years old, and so we ask not to touch anything. It is an authentic museum. Only 2 items belong to Robert Newell, and that was a rocking chair in the kitchen and the mail sorting cabinet in this first room. My favorite thing is a poster that you'll see on the wall before you enter the kitchen. It's from the state of Oregon, whereas Robert Newell did this, did this, did this, did this. It's a list of, he was amazing. And he and his brother-in-law, Joe Meek, were very instrumental in making Oregon, Oregon. Now, are you from, not New Mexico, where are you from?
Canada.
Canada. Okay, so Oregon. That's James. Woohoo! Thanks to Mike. That rocking chair in the kitchen belonged to Robert Newell. And where this lady is standing, that poster right there on the wall is more things that Robert Newell accomplished. He's like the first librarian, first orator, a speech club person. Helped establish Oregon's first laws. And so that makes a very nice list of his accomplishments. And his brother-in-law, Joe Meek, is a picture of him there with him. And Joe Meek right there on that wall. They were related since their wives were sisters. One thing I didn't explain to you that after he became bankrupt from helping so many people, during the floods, all the people came up and lived around here, and they fed them, they clothed them for a long time, and he ran out of all of his money he made during the gold rush and didn't know exactly what he should do. Well, his first wife was Nez Perce Indian, and her family lived in Idaho. They invited him and his family to move there and gave him land. So he left here and moved to Idaho, and he is buried in Idaho, not buried in Oregon, even though he did so much in Oregon. Any questions about Robert Newell? Or this home? Bedroom for Mom and Dad? That's huge.
Robert Newell.
And the babies would help me. We could, oh, have you all gone upstairs?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't.
The value of hair was 3 times the value of silver. Did you hear that? I'll take a picture of that.
So cool. It's a concertina. But yeah, it's accordion. Oh, it's got a good tone to it. Yeah. Kind of a tenny. Anybody play the piano?
My dad is. He's really good at it. He can play any song if he knows the song.
The school part of this building.
You'd take turns getting the bucket of water, and you'd have to wash your hands
Oh, really?
in the
And that was in Montana.
wash pan.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Montana should have had to wash their feet too.
Yes.
What they walked in.
Right, yeah.
So that was
Oh.
the schoolhouse part.
Oh.
That was my
And the teacher lived over here.
dad's middle name, Elijah.
And that's the school teacher's desk up there, I guess.
They gave my dad the middle name Elijah. He never cared.
To use a quill pen, give them some ink and a little journal so they can practice.
Quills.
They gave him that chalk up here.
This portion of the schoolhouse is called the teacherage, where the old schoolmarm lived, and then she just went a few steps over, and she could teach the little children how to read and write and do arithmetic. Yeah, wow, that is really nice.
Yeah, criminal too.
Yeah, maybe they get them, lock somebody up for getting drunk or something. Oh yeah, wow.
All the creature comforts at home. Hey, there's
Wow.
even a welcome mat.
Yeah,
Welcome to jail.
wow,
Not much heat.
Yeah.
wow.
They had a,
Oh, they had an escape. Somebody got it borrowed.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
They must have had some kind of a stove or something in it, huh?
Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
Wow.
I wonder if it was just a temporary, till they took him somewhere else. Could be.
I'm going to go upstairs. Here's some quilts. Some of the old antique quilts. Wow, what a bunch of work they put into these. And I think they made them out of old clothes, scraps of old clothes, and sewed them together. Oh, the old spinning wheels.
What's that?
The old spinning wheels, and this off a spinning wheel, I guess.
We got baskets in there. British Columbia. Wow. Oh, look at the old guns.
And more quilts. Oh, and a sewing machine. Another thing to put yarn on. And an old sea chest.
Basketry. All of these arrowheads.
Some bear teeth and lots of Native American baskets. Chinook culture.
Some really big blades. Oar club and beads. Beaded moccasins. An old fishing creel. This necklace is made of dentalium and some glass beads in with it. Are you about ready to go?
Just about. Look at this machine. I thought those dresses are just fabulous. This one.
The gun case had a few shotguns and some muzzleloader rifles in it.